Hello, everybody. We're welcoming back Ross Benjamin, NCAA college basketball analyst. And Ross and I do an underdog value ticket almost every day of the week in a video where Ross finds some underdog value, breaks those games down, and then puts his picks out. On a hot run right now. Last night had two plays and went 1-1. And the one that he lost was one that him and I are rarely on different sides, but I felt very strongly about the play and not trying to beat a dead horse. But something was brought up yesterday, Ross, and again, you and I are buddies at the end of the day, had something that was puzzling me because you had alluded to the fact that player stats and all that shouldn't, you don't respect that as far as coming into handicapping. And again, everybody has their own methods. I respect that. Had a couple bloggers hitting me up saying, man, that guy just called you a fantasy football fantasy football player, handicapper, and all that. Well, what I was thinking was you throw out a bunch of team stats and all this and that. Doesn't it take player stats to create team stats that are being used for handicapping tools? That was my only question. Because the let me finish real quick because this is all good. Okay. This is all good fun. The two guys I was keying on yesterday with their stats just so happened to be the reason that game was never even a close contest from start to finish. Those two, had it not been for their stats, which create the team stats, that play would have went south. But anyway, again, you and I are buddies at the end of the day. I respect you. I love the way you break your games down, and let's keep moving forward. How you doing, my man?
Okay, let me just clarify, if I could, Mike. I by no means was trying to insinuate that you're a fantasy player, albeit I could see how some of the viewers would have took it that way. My personal philosophy is I don't factor that in. Now, having said that, the way you just explained and reasoned why you use player stats to create team stats certainly makes a lot of sense. But let me go back to these team stats. Memphis made 15 three-pointers yesterday. This is a team that was shooting 30% from the three-point range all season long, shot well over 50%. It was by far their best offensive game of the year. And if you would have told me that I was going to get 86 points from Central Florida yesterday, they were going to hold Memphis to 13 free throws, and I would have thought my chances were pretty good. But that's like you say, that's why they played a game, and my kudos and hats off to you.
Oh, there you go. No problem. There was a lot of stats that were stepped up by Memphis, and UCF dropped on a few of them. But again, was just wondering with the team stat thing, and again, it's all good fun. Now you owe me lunch. Wait, I think I owe you a lunch from before. Hey, listen, Louisville at Virginia Tech. I looked at this one, and I really like your call on this one, Ross. Virginia Tech, not only is it home, what factors in for me is Louisville, on true road games, they haven't beat anybody by more than 5 from the research I did. What are you liking about Virginia Tech taking advantage of Louisville at home tonight to cover with those 9 points? Because that sure seems like a lot of points.
Well, before we went on the air, it went up to 10, as a matter of fact. Bettors seem to be taking Louisville like it's stealing tonight. And, you could see why. On paper, Louisville is the much more talented team, Mike. But we're talking about a one-game situation. And again, folks, we're talking about beating the number, not picking an outright winner. Louisville, as Mike just alluded to, 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 on the road, just 2-3 straight up in true road games. And one thing we must keep in mind here is this could be a danger spot for Louisville. They're playing Virginia Tech tonight, heavy favorite on the road, and coming up next, they have to face number 11 Virginia at home on Saturday, and they follow that up with a trip to Chapel Hill to take on number 2 North Carolina. So this very well could be a look-ahead spot. Virginia Tech, on the other hand, very good in conference play thus far, 4-0 against the spread in their last 4, covering 6 of their last 7. Their one bad game they played at Duke. A lot of teams are guilty of that. This is a Louisville defense that likes to pressure the basketball, as we've seen under Rick Pitino. That's been a constant over the years. And when they do so, they do create a lot of turnovers, but they also commit a lot of personal fouls. As a matter of fact, they're allowing 30 free throws per game in their last 5. Virginia Tech averaging 28 free throw attempts in their last 5 and connecting on 75% of those tries. That could be an underlying factor in this game, especially when you're getting that many points. I'm going to take a small lean here with Virginia Tech plus the 10 over Louisville, Mike.
Well, and again, Louisville, it's been a constant for them. They're not really known to go on the road and blow teams out. Pitino locks down on D. That's where he gets all of his success from. Although Virginia Tech's lost 2 in a row, they do, however, have 4 ACC wins. That right there totals the amount they've had in the last 2 years combined before this year. So, they've gotten some significant wins in the ACC, and not maybe against quality teams, but for them getting 4 victories when they were, eluding that last year, that was certainly, it's got to be big for their confidence going into this contest. And yes, I have to agree, Louisville just might be in one of those overlooked spots because of what they have coming up competition-wise. And but if there's anybody in the league that keep his team, keep their heads in the game, it is Pitino. And both of these teams, their leading scorers don't even shoot up to 50%. I mean, they're under 50%. So they're not the most accurate teams out there. And again, team stats for me that you use a lot are developed by player stats. And if there's one player that could make a difference for Louisville, in which I would call a fluke if they cover this, especially jumping up to 10, Ross, there's one player, Chinana Anakwu, and excuse me for the pronunciation, but this guy's had 6 straight double-doubles. That is one guy that constantly brings it for Louisville. I think he would be the only threat of them covering that line if he has just one of them knocked out of the park games. So, well, that's the first game. What do you think about this second game? I looked at it, Boise State plus 3.5, and how come you like Boise State getting the 3.5? And again, not a lot of wiggle room. Do you think they have a chance to get an outright victory against UNLV, the running Rebels?
I certainly do, and as I always say, we'll take the points as an additional bonus, though.
Yep.
This is a Boise State team, Mike, that started the year 3-4, and 3 of those 4 losses to begin the season, 2 to Arizona, who's currently number 18 in the country, and also another loss to number 12 Michigan State. So they faced some tough competition. Since that 3-4 start, they've won 12 of their last 13 games. Their only loss in that sequence coming by 4 at home against San Diego State. Not a bad club in their own right. Boise State is 3-0 straight up in ATS so far this season in conference road games. They're winning by an average of 10.7 points per game. They've gone 2-1 against the spread as a dog this season. As a matter of fact, Mike, they haven't been installed as a dog since November 29th against Arizona, so it's been quite a while. And this is a UNLV team that's really gone through a tumultuous season. As a result, it saw Dave Rice, their head coach, get fired early on. And also, they've gone 3-1 since that coaching change, but they are coming off a loss at Nevada as a 5.5-point favorite. I'm just going to go with the program that's on more stable ground right now, and that's Boise State. I'm going to have a lean here on the Broncos plus 3.5 over the UNLV running Rebels.
Yeah, I like that. There's just too many factors in there, Ross, that make sense. And Boise State's, they're 15-5 on the year, so they know how to win. They're 5-1 on the road against the spread, all right, to where you got a UNLV team that's 4-4 against the spread at home. So that's not a huge advantage for them, and I could not agree more with your breakdown about the coaching change. Mentally, that gets in those players' heads, and it almost starts their season over. They're questioning themselves. Do we have something to do with that? So that's big. And also, Boise State has beat them outright last 3 times. I'm a little shocked at this line. That makes me almost think, is this a setup line? I don't think so. I like what you got today. Well, viewers, you heard it, and I agree with it. Virginia Tech getting now 10 against Louisville, and again, Virginia Tech's on their home court, and Boise State getting 3.5 on the road against the running Rebels. Ross Benjamin and I are on the same side today. Ross, thanks so much for being back with us. Let's knock it out of the park tonight, and I'll get back with you again tomorrow, my friend.